Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Opinions That Matter. In this series of discussing brands that have done exceptionally well last year, we had an opportunity to have an interaction with Mr. Alok Malik, Executive Vice President and Business Head at Glenmark. We were talking to Alok sir on how did Fabiflu set itself apart in the crowded market when COVID had struck us and everyone wanted a solution to the problem. How did Fabiflu make it happen for itself? Sir, welcome to Opinions That Matter. Sir, the first thing I wanted to know was what was the journey of Fabiflu? Now, from the time when Fabiflu was launched in the country, almost in a time span of 15 to 20 days, we had the other brands also come into the picture. So, what was this journey all about for Fabiflu, and how did you achieve the milestones with Fabiflu?
So I think Fabiflu journey has been quite fabulous from the point of view that on 31st January when we recorded first case in India, the discussion was going on in the organization that this is something for which there is no treatment at this point of time available. I think we need to really do something onto this. So brainstorming had already started with all the related stakeholder and all. And within, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, we could identify certain targets that this is where we need to work upon. And since the organization has enough strength from end to end in the sense that we have our own API also, so we started the work simultaneously. On one side, the formulation development, also on the other side, the API part of it, and also started working on to the necessary regulations, formalities that would be needed from the point of view that is the phase 2 study and the phase 3 study, dosage study, all those things we started working on to this because everything was new for the whole world, So we were to target certain drugs which were already available and what could be repurposed for the treatment of COVID. So that was the clear objective because even the WHO was looking into this and various other global companies are also looking into this. So that is how we targeted a few molecules and this was one of them. And we saw initial success in the phase 2 studies and subsequently then we quickly started phase 3, which was a major challenge, because the first phase of COVID was quite devastating and the lockdown was very, very stringent. During that process, we were to do the clinical trial on around 300 odd patients at multiple centers across the country, doing all sorts of coordination and everything. So that is where the whole organization came together, be it regulatory, be it medical, be it formulation development, be it clinical research team that did wonderful job, and also the government affairs team along with the regulatory team. And they all coordinated very well. There were project management was fabulous in the whole process. Almost 3 meetings every week we were having it in terms of the development progress. All the bottlenecks were being broken, and we could see that in less than 5 months we could bring up the product. On 20th of June the product was available in the market with all regulatory approvals. So I think in the shortest possible time, with well orchestrated collaboration, coordination amongst all the stakeholders, and the basic strength of the organization having end-to-end capabilities to bring such molecules, as we have done this in the past as well, brought many first for Indian pharmaceutical market. I think that all helped together in bringing Fabiflu to help millions of COVID patients. We could treat more than 5 million patients. That's the record that we have in the shortest possible time, and could provide more than the treatment. We could provide a big hope to the clinicians, healthcare professionals, to the government agencies, and to the patients and to the public in general.
So, could you please share with us how did Fabiflu achieve that mind market share with the HCPs, with the distributors, retailers, patients? Because if I understand this correct, during the COVID times when the entire country was under a lockdown, patients were relying a lot on the distributors and the retailers for the brand availability. These distributors and the retailers were actually the frontline warriors who were ensuring the availability of the brand. So, how did we achieve that mind market share with the distributors and the retailers?
Since Favipiravir was already a off-patent drug and repurposed drug, so we knew that once we get the approval, based on our internal or Indian laws, the others will be able to follow through simple BE studies and all. So we knew this. Simultaneously, we also understood the importance that it is very, very critical for the HCPs and the patient that the product be made available all across the country as fast as possible. So our distribution channel, along with our distributors across the country, played extremely important role. Our field force, despite the COVID situation, and all of them were working from home, but they were brave enough to came out, considering the cause is so critical. And they met the stockists, retailers, doctors, and made the product available. And digital played a very important role. Till then, digital was not so critical or not the mainstay of medium of communication for not only for us but for everybody. But we started taking the advantage of that. We had a team, and we could quickly bring up those capabilities to the requirement that we started connecting around 1.5 lakhs doctors and almost same number of retailers on a 2 to 3 times in a week, providing them all kinds of information that was important for them to understand about the molecule and the availability of the product. We set up call center for people to get the information. We also set up micro website for the people to know, to get all kinds of information about the molecule, the availability. We provided all the stockist information across the country on our microsite so that people can access. Their telephone numbers were there, the contact person names were there, so that because retailer names was difficult to provide, but stockist names we knew that the stocks are there, so people can access that kind of a stocks. So we did massive availability of the product. And we did lots of scientific webinars, ad boards with the key opinion leaders, on pulmonologists, on physicians, on hospital doctors across the country, national level, regional level, state levels. We all went through consistently. We kept on doing this because people were hungry for the information about what to do in case of COVID. What are the kind of dosages, because there was a big challenge in terms of taking almost 60 tablets at the beginning, when it was only 200 milligram was available. So talking them about the compliance, giving them also about taking about patient consent, that was something new even for Indian doctors and Indian patients and retailers, all those things. So a lot of things were new, and that is why the frequency of communication was needed, that even if you have to over communicate, we do that because that was needed for the education. So we did a lot of work in terms of education of the HCPs, did a lot of work in terms of education of our own field force, in terms of distribution for the stockists and retailers. We did many webinars even for the stockists, for them to know about the overall product and the importance of this, and also did some general communication through media, for people to know about this. So this is how overall we carried out a massive communication efforts to ensure that people are aware about this and the brand reaches to all the corners of the country.
So one last question. What is the Glenmark philosophy when it comes to gaining dominance in the categories where it is present? What are the plans of the organization here?
So I think the organization differentiates itself with entire ecosystem that works within the organization. So it is not one individual, one function, but the whole philosophy of the organization that differentiates itself. So if you've seen Glenmark, so Glenmark is very focused as far as its chosen areas are concerned. We are present only into few therapy areas. If I had to tell you some statistics, we are present roughly into 20% of the IPM. That means we know where we need to put our resources. So resources are not only marketing, but we know where we need to put our resources in terms of development of formulations, new products, combinations, where we need to do phase 3 clinical trial, where we need to do phase 4 clinical trials or further clinical studies. So that way we are able to utilize our resources in the focus therapy areas. Second is the geographies also. Like unlike the whole IPM, our market share or salience in the metro and class 1 town is significantly higher than the class 2 to 4 towns or so. Because again, our entire deployment of field force and our resource deployment is also in those. So our segmentation is quite clear. Our therapy focus is quite clear. And based on this, our end-to-end integration is also quite clear. So when we need to go for API development, we know that which therapy area we need to work upon. So our identification of the molecules based on the HCPs and the patient need is in those therapy areas only. We are not looking into any new therapy areas because we believe that there is enough scope for us to go into the depth in the chosen therapy areas. So basically, Glenmark differentiates itself through innovation, through its focus strategy into therapy areas, through its segmentation into the geographies, and working consistently in going deeper and deeper into these chosen therapy areas.
So thank you so much for your time. It was quite informative on how Glenmark works towards building brands, and no wonder there are so many brands from Glenmark which are top among their categories. Thank you so much, sir. And I also would take this opportunity to thank our audience for joining us this morning. Have a lovely day ahead, and also giving you a small reminder that the AWACS Awards are slotted for 22nd November this month. Thank you so much.